Hi, let's take a look at using static NAT. Okay, so static NAT is used when we're on the outside of our network and we want to reach a device that has a private address. Okay? So it might be one of our servers that we need to access, but we need to give it a private address. Now, sometimes this is done if you have a small business or something like that as well, and you're at somewhere else on the internet or another location, and you want to be able to access your device that's at home. Okay, so what we need to do is, in this case here, what we are doing is that we have 3 private addresses. And if we want to reach all 3 of these devices from the outside, then we have to allocate each one of them its own public IPv4 address. And what we're going to do is on router R2, do the translation from this public address to the private address as those packets get forwarded to the inside network. Okay. So we need to allocate a separate private a separate public IPv4 address for each private IPv4 address, so we know what device we're trying to reach. So for this example, we're SSHing into the 209.165.200.226. Okay, well, R2 is going to translate that address to 192.168.10.10, so it knows to send packets specifically to that device. Okay, so how do we do this? Okay, so we say, starts off with IPNAT, this is a global configuration mode, IPNAT inside source static. And what we're converting is, here's the private address inside, and this is the public address. This is the address people will use on the outside to reach this device. So in this case, it's a web server. Okay. So let's take a look at the rest of these commands. There we go. All right, so what we're doing here is, here's the private address, which is this web server's address. Here's the public address. So this is the IP address we're going to HTTP to. The serial 010, that's IPNAT outside. So we put that command on the outside interface. And serial 000 was, say, IPNAT inside. Okay. And this will do the NAT translation from this outside address to this inside address. Yep. All right, or inside global address to inside local address. Because they're both considered inside the network. But this version, I know kind of this inside global, inside local gets a little confusing, but it's the NAT terminology. Okay. All right, verifying it. Okay, if we do show IP NAT translation, so this is where we're taking a look at the NAT table, and we can see the inside global command that we're using to access it. So it's inside, but the global, we're using it from the outside. Inside local, so this is our inside local, our private RFC 19 address. Okay, so during the session, okay, what it's showing here is the actual address. With these addresses here are the addresses of this device that is sending the packets. Okay, all right. So here we can do clear IP NAT statistics. If I do show IP NAT statistics, show that we have one static NAT configured. Okay, once we've actually established the session from the client to the web server, we do show IP NAT statistics, and we can still see we have one static NAT and we have 5 hits. So that means that's how many times it had to do the translation, okay, including the TCP 3-way handshake. for the initial connection. Okay, and that's static NAT.